Ready to create characters that truly resonate with players? Let's break down how to design personalities that shine in your game. I'm Mustafa, solo developer of Cellular Path and creator of Nexus Defenders, which is currently available right now on Steam. In the past, I worked at Treyarch during the development of Black Ops 4, and I worked at Zwift. Lately, there's been a lot of discussion online about character design, especially with the recent failure of Concord. Character creation, particularly in the AAA industry, is a collaborative effort. No one person comes up with a design of a character from scratch on their own. When I worked at Treyarch, for example, the art director oversaw the entire direction of the art vision, and underneath him were many associate art directors. Each of these associate art directors led a team of artists, and one of their key roles was to ensure the design team followed a cohesive style and vision. They provided guidelines for the artists while making sure the characters fit into the overall look and feel of the game. Of course, there's much more depth to the process than just that. But for most of you watching, you're more likely working on smaller projects such as an indie project, a small team, or even perhaps you're a solo developer like myself. In these cases, you'll have much more creative control over your characters, but that doesn't mean you should skip getting feedback. It's still crucial to refine your characters and ensure that your characters fit into the world you are crafting. Today, we're going to dive into the process of creating characters that stand out and grab attention, whether it's their personality, their role, or their backstory. I'll show you how to build characters that are not only unique but functional. And here's a twist. Great character design starts with the writing, not the art. It's about crafting who your characters are, what drives them, and what role they play within the game. Let's get into how to do that. Character design starts with writing, not art. When designing a character, ask these questions. What is their personality like? What's their temperament? Sanguine, choleric, melancholic, phlegmatic? What are their strengths, weaknesses, goals, and motivations? What are their abilities within the game? What are their character flaws that they will overcome? What is their internal struggle? These questions help shape the character's arc. Understanding this will help guide how the character evolves and what obstacles they will face. I think the best way to create a cast of characters that are diverse and resonates with an audience is create a cast with diverse personalities. An easy way to do that would be to use the Four Temperaments. The Ninja Turtles are a great example of the Four Temperaments. Each one of the turtles represents a different temperament. This has allowed children of different generations to resonate with these characters based on their personality. Let's break it down. Leonardo, he is phlegmatic. He is stoic and introverted, the calm leader who focuses on keeping peace. Michelangelo, he's a sanguine. He's mellow and extroverted, the jokester who enjoys life. Donatello, he is melancholic. He is the quiet nerd, cautious and focused on details. Raphael, he is choleric. He's hot-headed and impulsive. He's always ready to fight and take action. And due to the fact that they have 4 different temperaments, it is easy for kids to point to at least one of those turtles and say, he's like me. Children usually relate to a single temperament, while adults can often identify with 2 temperaments, a primary temperament and a secondary temperament. Master Splinter sits at the center of all 4 temperaments because wise and elderly characters like him have gone through life's experiences, and this results to them balancing all their traits. If you're still having trouble creating a character's personality, here's a hack. Cheat by using an existing character as inspiration. It's okay to use an existing character as inspiration for your own, as long as you transform them enough to make them your own character. For example, here's how I used other characters as their basis for my own characters in Nexus Defenders. The 4 main characters other than the protagonist are Echo version 313, Estrella, Deathbringer, and the Ironborn. Echo version 313, he's inspired by Jarvis from the MCU for his intelligence and his role as a supportive companion to the main character, much like Jarvis was to Iron Man. Estrella, like Azula from Avatar: The Last Airbender, she starts calm and powerful but becomes more unhinged and insane as the game progresses. Deathbringer, inspired by Apocalypse from the 90s X-Men cartoon with his larger-than-life, over-the-top, villainous presence.
A mutant! I am as far beyond mutants as they are beyond you.
The Ironborn, I based him off of Bane from Batman And Kraven, the hunter from Spider-Man. He's confident and seeks out the best opponents to prove his strength. These characters were inspired by well-known personalities, but I changed their goals, motivations, backstories, and of course their visual design. If no one notices the inspiration, then you've succeeded in making a new distinct character. Although I'm not going to brag and say my characters are completely unique and amazing, I was accused of ripping off Atom Smasher. Before this accusation, I had no idea who Atom Smasher is. I had to look him up because I never played Cyberpunk. So apparently my characters aren't amazing, but I had to start somewhere. Avoid overused stereotypes. In my previous video, I mistook the funk style for hip hop when I was discussing the black characters in Concord. I want to clarify that neither hip hop styles nor funk styles are inherently negative stereotypes, but they're often overdone stereotypes. Instead of relying on stereotypes, give a twist. For example, if you want a hip-hop inspired character, you can add a twist by fusing hip-hop with something else. For example, fusing hip-hop with martial arts, making him also love being a chef, or he loves reading literature and Shakespeare. When you mix those two things together, it makes it much more unique than just having him be a hip-hop inspired character, because that's just very overdone, it's overplayed, and it's not unique at this point. In my previous video in which I was going over some of the Concord characters, we look at this character who I called Rocket Girl. Characters like Rocket Girl face a big challenge when their design hides their face behind a mask. When you can't use facial expressions, you have to rely on other elements to make them stand out. Even characters like Spider-Man and Deadpool will have extremely exaggerated eyes when they're emoting their expressions. This helps them work around the challenge of having their entire face concealed. This is why having a partial mask, like a ninja mask, is better than having a full mask, because the fact that you are limiting what you can do with the character's expressions. When you have a full mask, be aware of this challenge. Look at characters like Deathstroke, Master Chief, Psycho Mantis, and Cyborg Ninja. They all wear full masks, but their iconic designs compensate for the lack of expressiveness. If your character wears a mask, it better have a design that's both memorable and really cool. If you're finding this helpful, make sure to hit that like button so more people can discover this content. Characters should look like their role in the game. Let's start with Mercy from Overwatch. Her design with wings and a white outfit makes it obvious she's a healer. Angels are associated with life and goodness, which aligns perfectly with her role as a support character. Mercy is one of my favorite character designs in Overwatch. You can clearly tell what she's supposed to do, and her visual appearance fits the world so well. Now take a look at Mei from Overwatch. She's slightly larger, which suggests she might be slower and more of a defensive character. Her blue and white color scheme, along with her big coat, clearly communicates that she's ice themed. Just by looking at her, it is clear that her function is to use ice powers in a defensive way. Contrast these clear design choices with Daw from Concord. Like Mei, he's wearing a large blue coat, but it doesn't seem to serve any functional purpose. This design suggests he might be a tank character, but he's actually a healer, which creates confusion for the players. I didn't want to talk about Daw in my previous video because I feel like everything negative about him has already been said by other people. It's very clear that he's an unappealing character. It was brought to my attention in the comments section that he's actually a healer character. That only highlights the issue further. His design doesn't give players any visual cues about his role, making it unclear what he's supposed to do in the game, unlike Mai or Mercy, whose designs fit their roles perfectly. What does a character's body and wardrobe say? A character's body shape and outfit can communicate more than just their role. Large, muscular characters suggest high health and strength, while slim, agile characters imply speed but lower health. And as I mentioned in the previous video, squares are more sturdy and strong. Circles are more friendly. That's why more cutesy characters have circular and round designs. And triangles imply more danger. That's why dangerous things have points and sharp edges. Beyond that, their wardrobe and accessories give clues about their personality. Do they wear sporty clothes? Are they dressed in all business gear, ready to get the job done? Let's look at some examples. Master Chief has a very straightforward power suit with no personalization and often delivers short one-liners. This shows that he's a straight shooter, all business, and is only focused on getting the job done. Contrast this with Voss from Far Cry 3. Just from his visual appearance, his mohawk, and his rugged clothing, you can tell he's a tough guy with lots of personality. His appearance hints at his chaotic and dangerous nature. Or take Geese Howard from Fatal Fury, for instance. He's a blonde American, yet he wears a gi and hakama, showing his love for Japanese culture. It's clear that he's a weeb and a huge fan of anime. Comment below, do you think Geese Howard prefers Pokemon, Digimon, or does he have love for both? Let's talk about antagonists for a moment. A great antagonist can be just as important, if not more important, than the protagonist. Batman, for example, is beloved in part because of his iconic set of villains. A strong antagonist with clear motivations give depth to your story. If you're struggling with your antagonist motivations, here's a simple template. The hero says, the world has hurt me. I'm going to make sure that no one else ever gets hurt. The villain says, the world has hurt me and I'm going to hurt it back. This dynamic sets up a clear conflict between the hero's desire to protect and the villain's desire for revenge, chaos, and destruction, making your story more compelling. And my last point, I want to go over Concord's mistake for their unique selling point. Concord tried to differentiate itself from other hero shooters by advertising that they will have weekly vignettes to expand on the story. But relying on story to sell a game doesn't usually work. Think of it this way. Story is like good customer service. You don't go to a restaurant because you hear they have good customer service. But great customer service will bring you back to that restaurant. It's the same way with story and video games. A great story will keep the player hooked once they got in. But what attracts them in the first place are the other selling points like great visuals, unique mechanics, or strong character design. Examples of key selling points include visuals, the overall aesthetic theme such as cyberpunk, fantasy, steampunk, etc. The characters themselves, or showcasing new and innovative gameplay mechanics. These selling points will do a much better job at grabbing a player's attention than saying you're going to have a great story. Did I miss anything? If you got any other tips for building strong characters that I didn't cover, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So to wrap things up, remember that designing a great character goes far beyond just their looks. It's about writing their personality, defining their role, and making sure their design reflects who they are and what they do in the game. Also, as I mentioned earlier, Nexus Defenders is available right now on Steam. If you're interested in checking it out, it's on sale 20% off for the next 2 weeks. Or if you're slightly interested, at least add it to your wish list. Finally, if you find this video helpful, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future content. Subscribe to the Suburb Path channel. Check out my other YouTube channel in which I post motivational YouTube shorts for more great content. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Salam.